I'd like to ask you what you thought of Chris Howard's contribution tonight. You had him out there 20 minutes, and something for a kid who hadn't played for so long in a game.
Well, anytime you lose a game, and when you play as poorly as we played tonight, you certainly want to look for bright spots. And just for Chris, the first college game, first time he's played in over 2 years, you have to be happy for him. And so happy for him to the degree that you almost don't worry or even give too much thought to, perhaps how well he played. But, from a basketball standpoint, it was easy for us to see some hope, like what he can give you. And so I was certainly encouraged. And the number of minutes he played, and we weren't sitting there just kind of, okay, he's played 8, now that's 12. It just kind of happened. But that's kind of where we want to be. And we didn't receive any restrictions from his doctor in terms of, okay, he needs to be at 15 minutes a game or whatever. But it's just, to me, it's just kind of almost common sense that he has to build. And he's not going to be the Chris that he was prior to his initial injury in quite some time. But yet, this is certainly something to build on, and I'm confident he'll get better and better.
Do you feel like he got into the flow of the game when he got in there right away? I mean, do you feel like he picked it right back up?
I thought early on, I thought he did, and we talked a little bit about when we wanted to put him in the game. And I thought early on he went in there. I thought he did some things well. I think he was as comfortable as can be, as you can expect anyone to be in that situation. And again, that's one of his strengths. And again, I'm confident that he'll play better on Sunday. And let's just hope that all of us do.
Coach, Chris said you talked before the game about defending the 3 and the need to do that better after the first 2 league games. Does that make it a little more frustrating to see the way that Louisville was able to shoot?
Yeah, absolutely it does. It does. Going into the game against Pitt, we were holding teams to 26% three-point field goal approximately in our wins, and they were at 41% in our losses. That was going into the Pitt game. And Pitt, I think, made 56% of their threes. So I don't know how we could have put more emphasis on defending the 3 the last 2 days in practice. So from that standpoint, it's extremely disappointing. We even during one stretch we even had a drill where we put 10 minutes on the clock where only thing either team could do was shoot threes. Again, just whatever we can think of, that wasn't so uncommon. Anytime you want to emphasize something, you do that if you to put emphasis on that. So that's just an example of the emphasis we're trying to put on that area of our defense.
Coach, only 4 points off the bench the last 3 games. How much has that been a factor in the losses?
Well, you certainly can say it's been a factor, and of course. I don't know that we've ever felt like we had a bench that we could go to and get 20 or 30 points a game. But when you look at some of the guys that gave us some contributions off the bench earlier, that they're not playing right now, and so that means you're going deeper onto your bench, which means inexperience or whatever, then you're not going to get as much. For example, Aries Williams came off the bench against Wake Forest and gave us a big spark. And, of course, he's not playing. We actually started Aries at East Carolina. And his first start, he gave us 10 points, 9 rebounds. And so we certainly saw that as a possibility of a person that could give us some consistency, points, and rebounds off the bench. And so I don't know how much we're going to be able to get from our bench, so we just got to hope that that area will improve, but that we can get more from our starters.
As opposed to last year, what do you think's allowed teams to win by such big margins the last 3 games?
I really can't say. As I mentioned to you, I think yesterday, if you look at the first, prior to this, like the first 2 games that the Big East teams played, there were a number of games where teams lost by 16 points or more. Villanova lost at West Virginia by 18 or 20. Notre Dame lost at Georgetown by a similar number. Marquette went to Providence and lost by a similar number. So, it's hard to kind of, read into too much into that, so early, into the season. But we lost a number of games last year. But, every team is different. And the one thing that we did with more consistency last year was defend. And that's something that I like to think that you can control. You're going to have off nights shooting, scoring, but you've got to have a consistent effort there and focus defensively, and that's something that we like to think that we've had. And if you can hang your head on that, that's a start. And obviously now we don't have that.
How frustrating was it to come within 4 points, in the second half, and then have them run away with the game like that?
Well, we certainly like where we were at that point, from a momentum standpoint, and what it kind of reminded me of late in the first half at Pitt. We playing pretty well, and score is 26-20, and you look up and gosh, we're on the road. We hadn't played as well as we like to have played, but gosh, we're only down 6 points. The next thing you know is 10 points. Then they come out to start the second half and they pull away. So it was frustrating because I certainly liked. Obviously, we had momentum on our side and we're doing some things well, but that's the other thing it reminds me of last year at Louisville. We were up 6 points in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. And we go about 6 minutes and only score 2 points. And I think that's where Louisville, just makes a difference. And I talked to our players about that before the game, that you're not only going up against players with some individual talent, but you're playing against a program that has great tradition. They're going to play with a lot of pride. And you need to understand what that means when you say the name on the front of their jersey. They got as much tradition. They can talk about, from a tradition standpoint, just as well as any of the top 10 programs in the country can. So I really think it gets to a point to where you can say we got to play Louisville basketball, for example, and it tends to mean something. I know last year their place, we felt good, in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game they just turned up the heat, so much that we went 4 or 5 minutes and only got 2 points.
What's the message you're going to give your kids going into this rough part of your schedule?
Well, we're going to meet here again, but I think for all practical purposes, from where we sit, I think the game against Cincinnati just literally becomes a must-win. And you hate to have to say that so early in the season with 13 games left to play, but you go 0-3 and you've already lost one home game, and this is the second home game before you go on the road to play 2 teams that I think is playing as well as anybody in the league, and probably 2 of the biggest surprises in the league in West Virginia and Notre Dame. You certainly got to look at Sunday's win and got to think, hey, that's a must-win.
You can address the timetable of the guys that are out right now, and Chris and Harris and even Zeron, when they might be able to return and play for you. I
wish I could. I really don't. Of the 3, I would say Chris Capco's probably would be the closest to coming back. Zeron would be next, but I really don't. I don't know that how realistic it is for Chris Capco to play Sunday, because he still hadn't come back. He's not on the court. He's just jogging and doing running and stuff. So if he's not on the court yet, I don't know, how well he'll be. What his chances are for Sunday. So that will lead us to think one of the 2 games next week. And Zeron, where he is right now, I don't know how he could play prior to Notre Dame at their place.
After the UConn game, you said, you had UConn and Pitt, they just
that's a tough 2 games for anybody, but you were confident you guys would rebound, come back. How disappointing is it for the way you guys played tonight, coming off of that, and what does that do for the goals for postseason and different things, not being able to hold serve at home?
Well, it's extremely disappointing because the most basic thing you've got to do in any conference, you got to win your home games. You know, the most basic formula for winning your regular season title is you win at home and split on the road. But to what is, in our case, with only 12 teams advancing to the Big East tournament, you got to win your home games. And so that's why I said the game Sunday becomes a must-win. I don't know how that you can go 0-4. Not that you can't, but if you go 0-4, you got to play extremely well and have a lot of breaks, you know, in those last 12. And that's just, you know, so much pressure to say, okay, you got to win X number of your last 12 when you've lost your first 4, including 2 at home. And by no means do we expect this to be an easy game tonight. But at the same time, we had to expect that we'd certainly would play better.